Okay, as we were, this is Nintendo Freak 2011 again, so this is part 3 now, and I'm gonna make this last up to part 4, and if not, there's gonna be a 5th and final part. So, without further ado, let's begin. And like I said before in the other video, yes, abuse is a very extremely, especially a child abuse, an extremely serious topic and unfortunately real serious issue, as I said in the second part of this mini video series. And I got my little glass of water here, just in case you guys are wondering. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin. This is still Octavia Puppeteer Strings, a little heroic tale discussion, and me doing a video response on it. And very few people rarely ever do this anymore. So yeah, let's begin, and hopefully I'm able to play this. Here we go.
From a writing perspective, and I've got my author's hat on here, their dialogue was cartoonish. They were utter cartoons. All the father needed was a mustache to twirl, and the mother just needed to let out a laugh tantamount to Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty. Their dialogue, therefore, I feel,
Maleficent.
was,
oh man,
not good.
That's awesome.
Their behaviour, on the other hand, was not as cartoonish as.
Oh, if you don't know Scribblers, this is the one right here. One where my mouse cursor is like spinning.
Now, admittedly,
right here.
The thing that bothered me most about the depiction of abuse in this fiction was the type of abuse that was going on would have had more of an effect on Octavia.
I'm not going to repeat myself again, so you guys know what she's talking about.
Her behaviour would have been such that people would have noticed, or she would have been so incredibly withdrawn that they might have noticed that. The way that she is, that she fights against them when this is, according to the fiction, all she's ever known, bothered me, because that's not how an abuse victim would act. But the behaviour of the parents, the stuff that they do, while it might seem cartoonish,
oh, like I said on my other videos, by the way, real quick, want to interrupt.
Echo what Scribbler said
one
about
second.
Octavia.
Yeah, like I said before, if you don't want to hear me like over talking all these other people's, because this is a recording. This already happened about a week ago when I did their live stream discussion. Unfortunately, I missed it, so I wasn't able to attend because I had a lot, crap ton of errands to do that day. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go on Twitch TV or any of those other websites that are live stream sites, you know. So, yeah, that's the reason I wasn't able to see it. And if I was able to talk to them, it would have been awesome as hell, but sadly I wasn't. So, other than that, yeah, if you don't want to hear my voice voicing over and talking over these guys, I'll put the whole link to the description, the official video down below. This is actually on Scribbler's channel. Shout out to Obass Scribbler. She is an amazing, beautiful, wonderful woman. Definitely an awesome chick. So, yeah, let's keep going. I think Web Shooter or Sweetly was going to say something.
His reaction to the abuse, yeah, that in particular was the point where I just thought, okay, this author just doesn't really know what they're doing here. Simply because, as Scribbler said, she acts like a normal person. She doesn't act like someone who's known nothing but this for her entire life. I mean, there's things like Stockholm Syndrome, which the author is clearly trying to allude to at points, but just... Also,
I've never heard that throughout the almost 26 years I lived on this
Stockholm Syndrome isn't just occasionally going, oh, they really love me. It's actually believing that.
Anyone's a psychologist out there, you can let me know what a Stockholm Syndrome is.
Rather than just occasionally going, oh, maybe I am actually worthless, and then just dismissing it.
I completely agree. The whole time when I was reading it, I almost wanted to yell at it, because I was like, no, that's not how you're supposed to react. You're supposed to be freaking out. You're supposed to be more traumatized. It just felt so bland, and it fell short, in my opinion, her characterization. It could have been so much more powerful if she was written correctly in the aspect of, okay, I'm being abused. It didn't even come off that way. It was just so nonchalant, like, oh, okay, now I'm going to go to the bar.
It's been forever
I hated that.
since
My biggest gripe about that. And then as well with the parents, the whole fact that they were so cartoony with their dialogue, it just took away from the whole abuse aspect of it. And I totally agree with Scribbler in the fact, I know people that have dealt with situations like that, and it makes me so mad, because I was thinking the whole time, like, this could be so well done if the author had just taken the time to do a little bit of research on how abuse victims actually react to situations.
It felt very exploitative. Who was it who said, if you like the ending, you won't like the middle?
That was me.
I think you're very right, that if they like the middle bits, they won't like the ending. But if they like the ending and the middle bit is all about abuse, it's not even very well written depiction of abuse. The dialogue, it trivialised the violence going on, and it made it seem more cartoonish than it actually was. The deprivation of food. When she had the hot soup put in her mouth, and her mouth held closed, that was a very small type of abuse, as in, it is a very small thing that is done, but it has a big effect. And I'm a big fan of stories that take small things and make a big deal of them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have written Playing With My Heart, which is like all in one room. But that act could have been really, really effective because it's such a visceral thing. Most people have tasted hot liquid. They know it hurts. So the idea of somebody
yeah, you're
holding
telling
your
me.
mouth closed
I want to make a little side statement to that. That would freaking hurt. And I'm trying my best not to use profanity because I really want to, but I can't because partnership reasons. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, oh God. I can't tell you how many times, especially me being Latino and Mexican or whatever, and half Puerto Rican, I've had my fair share of really hot-ass Mexican soup. It is devastating, literally. It burns the hell out of your tongue. Especially with the hot, spicy food my race ethnicity is definitely well known for having. It is no joke. The first few times I had it, it would burn anywhere from 30, maybe 60 minutes. Pretty much an hour, a half hour straight. If I had really super hot chili sauce or super hot Mexican Texas style, like, not just chili sauce, but barbecue wings. Or even ghost pepper sauce. That is stuff you really don't want to F around with. That could literally hurt you very badly. Especially if you're maybe even outside that range, shoot. It'll probably hurt you even a couple more hours long. I mean, hell, even a perfect example, shout out to this dude, Tootin' Critic Y2K. This guy knows this stuff. He actually answered both of my questions when he did his live stream of 4,000 subscribers, 4K plus subscribers. He actually did it in his video, and he even talked about the ghost pepper sauce challenge that he did. He's never ever do it again, ever in his life. And I don't blame the dude. I really freaking don't, because there's no way I would ever try anything that freaking crazy, man. Because I've had my fair share of hot sauces, but nothing as devastating as ghost pepper sauce. And chili sauce, probably the hottest. At the longest it's ever burned me is probably about 15 minutes, and that was it. And this is only my mouth, too. Thank God I never got my eyes. I probably would have had to go to the damn emergency room or something. Alright, let's get back to the discussion and my responses to it.
Have a mouthful of really hot, scalding liquid is something that most people can relate to. But then to have her mother cackling about it while she's doing it completely trivialized the act itself. So it took what could have been a realistic depiction and would have made Octavia so much more sympathetic, and instead made it we didn't care. Especially because afterwards, oh look, no burnt mouth.
Alright, about the family dynamic, the mother, the father, and the child. Yes, I agree with everyone who said it, that the mother is cartoonish with her abuse, like really sadistic, enjoying all of it, to a degree where I don't think anyone would enjoy it as much as the fic tries to portray. Otherwise, that's just completely unrealistic. The father, however, I sort of like how he was portrayed, like, not exactly abusive. I mean, verbally, yeah, he was sort of abusive, but he was distant, he was the negligent.
Passive.
He did order his servants to beat her.
Yeah, but it was after Octavia had gained the upper hand. What I'm trying to say is, like, he didn't care about his immediate family right there with him. He cared about his father, proving him wrong. He was a man with a goal, a very dark and, I guess you could classify, evil goal, to just prove his father wrong and not give two shits about anyone he tramples on.
Ah, sorry about the language there. I can't do anything about that part, people. Anyways, yeah, he was really right about Octavia's father in this fan fiction, this dark, gruesome, crazy fan fiction, of course, about the crazy little demonic energy, or entity, excuse me, if you will, as you will, or if you want to put it together like that, whatever the hell you want to call it. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. He was a very controlling. In a way, he didn't physically abuse his daughter Octavia in this fan fiction. He pretty much verbally and spiritually kind of abused her mentally, telling her how he never really loved her and how she was really just all earth ponies are just cheap laborers or very pretty much excrement. That's pretty much what he was calling his daughter Octavia. So he would verbally and mentally and spiritually F around with her really, really badly, and that's why she always cried herself to sleep a lot in this fan fiction. And it really made me, like I said in the two previous parts of this little mini series of me doing like a response to these guys, it really, in my personal opinion, really made me feel emotionally tied, immersed. I put myself in her hooves instead of her shoes because she's a pony. of how sad and how much pain and sorrow she went through with her parents. It's like very devastating in a way, you know. You know, they're saying it's cartoonish. Hey, you know, it's all fine and dandy. I know it's fantasy. It's not real, obviously. But you know, there's certain little aspects and element to see like what it would be like in a human world. Obviously, us in the world of reality right here. It would be no laughing matter, obviously. With child abuse, like I said before, I'll say it again, it is a very serious topic. I know over here in the United States it is. Around the world it might be too, but I know over here for a fact, for sure, in this country, they do not F around with it. That's what the CPS, Child Protective Services, is about when it comes over here. Maybe they got different forms in other countries like that out there, I'm not sure. Actually, no, in Mexico, a lot of their rules are a little bit funkier. It's a little kookier, but they're a lot less caring, unfortunately, when it comes to children out there that are like, because there's a lot of real dark things that happen out there, like sex trafficking. Unfortunately, a lot of child abuse and negligence that happens over here there sometimes, and the government just lets it slide off most of the time. So they're a lot more cold-blooded out there, and they're not as strict out there with the CPS, and it's not called Child Protective Services. I think it's called a different name out there. But I wasn't born and raised out there like my mom's side of the family was, so I really wouldn't know too much. Plus, it's been a good 8-9 years since the last time I went out there, so it's been a while. But yeah, maybe in some countries they really don't give a crap, unfortunately, about children. Other countries that are very developed, not just third world countries, because in a way, unfortunately, Mexico is sort of a third world country, but maybe more European, modernized countries or Asian countries that are Japan and China and stuff like that, they're a lot more stricter, I guess, especially with population control. I know in Japan and China it's a big thing, especially with children, so maybe they actually care about more of their kids over there, unlike some other countries. It depends. I'm not really sure. I'm not into politics, so I wouldn't know. You probably, if you want to actually ask me that official question, how does child abuse or child rules and regulations work for children? You're asking the wrong person. You're asking me the wrong person because I'm not into politics or anything like that. So you're going to have to Google or ask somebody else or Google it. Alright, let's continue.
And Octavia, yeah, I will agree with everyone that she didn't behave the way abuse makes you behave. But at the same time, when she finally did after they put that collar on her, the shock collar, that was a bit weird. You know, she was apprehensive, I think is the word, to everything they'd done. Then all of a sudden she starts behaving like a trained monkey with a smile plastered on her face. Just, that was the part that was weird. She just suddenly jumped ship from one character being resilient to just falling flat on her face. Please, forgive me! I'll be a good girl, I promise! It did not feel like a smooth transition.
There's something I have read where the best villains are the ones who are the heroes or protagonists of their own story. Now, the mother character, that does not describe her to any conceivable level, because the act of physically harming another person, the act of abuse, is against, I feel, against human nature. What you need...
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Definitely no fucking kidding there. Freaking kidding there, excuse me. Okay, I don't know what the hell happened there. Okay, I don't know what the heck is going on over here. Oh, I think it's because I'm uploading my other video. And my Criticism Guy 2009 channel, as you can tell right there. See? The name doesn't lie. Oh, cool. I got 220 subscribers. Nice. Okay, oh, that's what it is. Yeah. I think for some reason, sometimes when my computer gets really slow, it lags a lot. So that might be the major reason why it's doing that. Okay. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Oh, it was a Google ad. F me up the butt. Seriously, that ain't cool.
To be able to get there is something
Alright,
to
now it's
justify
back.
it
Sorry,
yourself.
apologies on that.
There is nothing in the mother's character to me
I wasn't
that
supposed to
enables
show
me
that
to
picture. Shit.
conceive that she can justify this.
This is the picture I'm supposed to show you. Oops. Oh well. The link's in the description below. You'll be able to figure it out. I don't know why I'm having technical difficulties, but that's kind of stupid. Oh, it's processing now. Oh, that might be the reason. why it's taking a while. My hugest humble apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still going to keep going with this in another 15 more minutes. So I want to keep these under 30 minutes. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. If it does, I apologize.
With the father character, as Wheatley points out, he has an overall driving goal that is beyond...
Overdriving goal that is beyond what?
Beyond just Octavia, which is...
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, obviously, I guess maybe he, in a way, maybe, what's it called? As I'm trying to gather all my thoughts here. Maybe the reason why, like, the father really hates Octavia is because both of her parents were unicorns, right? And if you read the story or heard it yourself, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if not, like I said, link will be in the description below to her official video for Scribbler, or the one that I'm playing right now. Except without me over talking it. So you can gather your own thoughts, views, and opinions on what you guys think about this. But yeah, I guess maybe in a way the biggest reason I think the father really despised Octavia and really hated her freaking guts to hell, as all hell, I think it's because she was born an earth pony instead of a unicorn pony. It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like has to do with like in reality of us over here in the reality in the real human world of planet Earth that we're living in right now, in this life right now. You can pretty much compare it to racism or discrimination. Like, I normally talk about this mostly on my Criticism Guide 2009 channel, but I rarely ever talk about it here. I've only talked about it a couple times because I used to do rant videos on this channel, but then I stopped because I only wanted it to be about at least 6 things: either cartoon conspiracy, anime manga reviews, my Pokemon openings, Pokemon TCG opens, of course, my Pokemon theories. That's 4. I already talked about cartoon conspiracy theories. What else? Video game reaction reviews and My Little Pony. That's the 6 things I really, really wanted this channel to be about. Possibly a 7th thing too, because I'm doing it more on my Criticism Guide channel, but I'm sort of in the works. Maybe early 2015 I'll probably start doing it next year, because we're right around the corner, because it's already November 11th as I'm doing this video. So we're of 2014. We're super close around the corner of getting to like 2015. So I'm probably going to introduce in 2015. And as you can see, this is actually a little bit of a piece of it. Except I'm going to be doing rants about it, not doing agree to disagree or anything like that. I'll probably be shouting at the top of my lungs, except without profanity. And like, you know how I used to do videos like Liger 13 when I used to do rant responses? I'm going to do super rant responses. But I'm going to start doing them like 2015, when I show like a couple pictures and slideshows of what the people are about and everything like that while their video is playing in the background. If you get me, if you can understand and relate to me, you know what I'm saying? 2 really good people I have done this, I know on YouTube, is Master TPC10. He's cool. Check him out. And Super Epic Clayman. Check those guys out. Those 2 do it very professionally when they do rant responses. Pretty big on YouTube. Unfortunately, it's mainly pretty much caters to a younger audience, about like kids and teenagers are the main ones I see do that. I really don't see nobody over their 20s do that very much, so I don't want to sound like I'm some creepy weirdo old guy mofo or whatever. I just really, really enjoy doing that. It's really awesome. You know, it's really amazing. It sounds a little childish, but trust me, they sound like very interesting rant response videos. And they even used to do this even before last year, when YouTube completely got rid of the video response feature, which I really hope one day that comes back. But knowing YouTube and the big giant corporate organization, internet website that is Google and Google Chrome, I highly doubt that's ever going to happen, unfortunately. You know, one can only dream though, right? Alright, I talked way too much, and I only got like a good 10.5 minutes, so see if I could keep playing the video without any audio stops, so we'll see.
Recognition of the Isom's family, and to some extent you can justify it, but the way the characters are portrayed, I can't honestly conceive that there would be a story written about them.
She does justify herself in the fic, and unfortunately it is the kind that an abuser would use. And it's where she said about her husband's parents never approved of her, and she would have been approved of and been allowed into their upper echelons of society, and would have been so much happier if only Octavia had been what she was supposed to be. And in the mother's mind, that was enough to justify punishing Octavia for her own pains.
Totally agree.
I'll give
with
you that is something that could be used logically to justify it, but I don't feel in the confines of the story. I don't believe the mother character when she says that. She's just so badly written that it doesn't gel for me. I think that the major problem I have is trying to accept a rational human I'm going to use human even though
that's like some
a rational
UK like slang.
These characters is stymied by the fact that the characters are so
awesome. It's like, hey, you're gelling? I'm gelling. Like the Dr. Scholl's commercials.
The dialogue. I know, Scribbler, you've said earlier, and I agree with you, that the motivations of the characters are not inhuman, but certainly the attitudes and the way they talk feels that way.
Octavia always says to her mother, "You're jealous of what I can write. You've never written anything worth hearing in years and years and years, and I'm putting out all these masterpieces." Could that also possibly be a reason for the abuse, perhaps, as well as everything else?
Abusers are very rarely rational beings, because the act of repeatedly hurting someone that way, to whom you're related, is an irrational act. Therefore, her reasoning is going to have to be quite irrational as well.
I think that the reason again I stick on that is when her daughter turns to her and says, "I can write better than you," I keep having to think to myself, they did a magic spell for that to happen.
But at that time, she doesn't know it.
No, but the mother does. And if I said, "Well, I'm a better writer than you," the mother should be like, "Yes, we did a terrifying ritual in order to make that happen." The fact that she continues to be, it's just one irrational thought too far for me to accept.
My final point on that is that while I do agree with Scribbler that, yes, sadly such people do exist, I don't believe that the author is drawing from anything real here. My impression of the author's use of characterization is that they are simply trying to evoke a visceral reaction, but I don't think they've thought into it beyond, okay, this can provoke a visceral reaction, this can make the audience sympathise with this character more.
Yeah, torture porn.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Torture porn.
So,
I said that in the first part of this video,
She's
too.
a moron.
When I was doing this video response
thoughts
discussion.
on how reprehensible these characters are and why I don't care about her that much. She's actively instigating what happens to her through most of the fic. As she points out in her own narration, this is all she has ever known. Whether or not she reacts to it realistically, she is constantly goading her parents into hurting her. Like, when she
that's right.
She brags
like
to
some
her mother
BDSM
about the fact
torture
that she
style
slept with another mayor,
she
just
was
to try
right.
and get a rise out of her.
Spot on to
that she is
Scribbler.
going to be
Credit,
conked out on the
respect
floor by
to
the end
Miss
of the
Obab
conversation.
Scribbler right
I
there.
can sort of see where she's coming from with that. It's not really a rational feeling, just like you feel overbearing, and to let them know that you have gone against their wishes, and to see them get a rise out of it, it just sort of feels good in a way. Like you don't really care about the consequences that much. At the same time, you just want them to know that you are not one to be trifled with. It's just not really a rational feeling. You just enjoy it, I guess.
I'm sure everybody's always had that moment of you get so frustrated that you say something, and as you get older, the time frame between saying it and thinking, oh shit, gets smaller.
Extending on Sweedley's point, yes, obviously it's that small piece of freedom she has in her life, because remember,
it's this guy right
her
here.
parents have pretty much got her trapped. If she tries to leave, then the guard, the prince of the guard, whatever, the police, they will just track her down and stuff like that. And literally, if she tries to do anything else, her father, who knows everybody in the whole of Canterlot, everyone in the town of Canterlot would just pretty much bring her back. She would always end up at home, so she would be trapped.
We reached the point, how does she know this? Because her father's told her. Does she believe her father that much?
I think she brings up the point several times.
When she really tried to run away when she was a child, to put this massive fear in her head that it is impossible.
According to what Octavia said before in the story, she had tried to run away before, but a maid that she had entrusted her plans to told her father.
That's why she was having a hard time trusting the chef and trusting the butler, which in the end she couldn't trust the butler, and obviously the butler felt bad about that, but she had no idea who to trust.
We don't know if the butler felt bad or not. We don't know anything, because he just keeps up the stiff face and then just walks out as he was ordered to.
If we don't have anything else to add about specifically Octavia, we should talk about abuse in fiction. Does anyone want to start us off?
Abuse in fiction falls into two camps. One is this, where it is used as a plot device and has been written by people who either know very little about it or know what they know from the telly, or it's written with
the telly
realism. And I've read quite a lot of different books about this, generally fiction and non-fiction, and the one that kept coming to my mind was actually, it was an autobiography called A Child Called It. I don't know if anybody else has read this.
I've read it. No, I know what you're talking about.
That is a difficult book.
It is. So having that in my head as a realistic depiction of child abuse, and then reading this, made this a hell of a lot less enjoyable and a lot more frustrating, because...
You're right. It would have been enjoyable and frustrating with that book, because I've never heard of that book before, because I barely read any authorization, like novels and books, because, I'm not that much of an older person, even though some of these people are like 30, 40 years old, too. They're not super young, but you know what? It's all good. I don't age discriminate at all, in my own opinion. And this is where she starts getting a little bit more depressing, because this is where Scribbler starts really breaking down what fantasy torture is, and abuse and neglect is, between reality. And she breaks it down in so many wonderful ways. It's hard to imagine how wonderful this person is. Alright, let's keep moving.
I know how it should have been done.
I think the author was clearly trying to go for the painfully realistic route, but was just stuck in the mindset of using it as a plot device, as has been mentioned, yeah.
A possible lack of research, if anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very huge lack of research.
Research is
I would totally be honest with you
when
on
you're
that,
looking at
people.
a subject as sensitive as this one.
When we look at this as a fanfic, I am going to have to link it with March to the Scaffold, which we looked at in the second of the heroic reviews, where everything is set up to manipulate you to experience a particular emotion. We've mentioned things like Snowflake, where it stacks the deck in favour of a particular emotion to get you to experience that. It kind of tries a shotgun tactic where it throws everything at you. Here's the parents doing something utterly horrible, here's the parents doing something utterly horrible.
Oh yeah, they blame the crap out of the parents in this fanfiction. If I haven't said it once, I say it again.
You tend to have that sensation of anger or feeling for the character, but you lose it just as quickly because it's so overwhelming, because it's so divorced from reality. That was certainly my perspective here.
I think when you described the shotgun approach, yeah, that really hit home. That's pretty much my experience of this pick, and you've nailed that down there, yeah.
I think it's often with things that are very serious. In the forms that you see them in the real world, they tend to be, when you say it out loud, it sounds quite small, but it's because you don't appreciate it from an outside perspective, and it's because you don't quite understand what's happening with it. If you've never had it happen to you, things like mental illness and things like that, as you say it out loud, it doesn't sound like much.
Oh, trust me, people, I've seen that happen in real life. It is not pretty.
You can tell people
I can get a lot more personal with it, but
because they tend to be
this is
so
YouTube, so I'm not going to get too
personal.
Cliched.
So I'll cut myself off later. Alright, 2 more minutes and then I'm cutting this off to the next final part. Hopefully, you guys will stick around for that.
Point that I'm going to make. I want to make it now because it's there, and I do want to address it, but I don't want to go into detail on it. There is a scene of Octavia gets drugged, unwillingly drugged by 2 men at a bar, and there is a scene where Octavia runs into 3 men who attempt to rape her.
The same ones.
They're the same ones, and I'd just like to point out that's in this story, and it's used about as well as the abuse.
Wait, where does the drugging come in? I don't remember that part.
That's actually really subtle. It's only when you realise that she's probably had rohypnol because she's acting really strange. And then Harper mentions something very vague later when he meets her in the alley. But it's never outwardly stated that she's had something put in her drink because she goes home just after that. And one of the stallions, I think Boulder, turns to Harper and just goes, "Leave it."
Oh, that's right, when he got angry.
Does anyone want to add anything?
Go read A Child Called It instead.
Go read A Child Called It, and God, A Child Called It was harder than The Road. Jesus, that book. Let's go to a lighter note. Isn't Vinyl badly written?
Yeah. Who isn't badly written in this fic?
I think that she was written well in some aspects and so horrendously badly at the end. Because I liked the fact that she cottoned on that there was abuse going on, and she said, "I'll help you. I will do something. We'll find someone to tell." And she was trying to be, she sounded to me like somebody who'd never come across abuse fiction before, didn't know anything about it, and was trying very hesitantly to think, should I ask? However, at the end, come back to me. No, come back to me. No, okay.
Yeah, it specifically says, I will never leave you. I will never let you go through this again. I'll always
like
be
I was
by
saying
your
in the
side.
second
You will
part
never
of
be
this
alone
theme,
anymore."
I remember that.
Then, yeah,
It was sort of like a
ending,
lesbian
oh my
relationship,
God,
and I got
If only that
real
scene had been
deep into that one in
extended,
part
it would
two.
have
If you
been
want to
better.
check
But
that
the
out.
fact it was
Yeah.
so truncated made
And
me
I was
think,
talking about
no.
that on
Did their
this
connection
little
really have to be
video
so
response
strong, like
rant
make it into
slash
a romance?
discussion.
I mean, I know it was sort of hinted at certain points that maybe Octavia felt some sort of infatuation, but they'd known each other for 3 days. When she was drunk, she finally opens up to Vinyl about the abuse.
Yeah.
Does that all really translate to, okay, now I'm home with you, we're on the couch and we're going to make out and I'm going to fondle your soft bits?
Okay, that was a little bit too dirty. But anyways, it's already past 30 minutes, so I will be doing the next official final part. If I don't get up to part 5 as this being the official video response, not really rant, but discussion, when I said rant earlier, discussion video, I will probably do all the way up to part 6. I'm probably going to be uploading these like once a day, so hopefully you like this little mini series that I'm doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll see you in part 5. Guys, take care. Ladies, goodbye, and I will talk to you guys next time. Alright? Deuces, I'm out, and take care, stay safe, and be easy. And bros and bronies, pegasisters, I'll see you guys in the next update vlog. Goodbye.